Weapon for them in the Champions League this season. Spurs in white, Villarreal in yellow, and we are about to get underway in North London. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and I think this will be a close game. I think it'll be a cagey game. Marcelino, the Villarreal coach, I think thought the same. He said that he thinks the most ruthless team will win it. They're a well-balanced team, aren't they? Villarreal taking some big European scalps over the years. Not so long ago they won the Europa League themselves under Unai Emery. You feel Tottenham, they really need to get off to a fast start in this Champions League.
Underway on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds earlier. Arsenal winning away in Spain to start their Champions League campaign. This is Tottenham Hotspur against Villarreal, opening match of the group phase. As we got used to Spurs being a very young team under Ange Postecoglou, and that continues with Thomas Frank. Average age of this Tottenham side tonight is 25 years of age, and it's their youngest starting 11 in the Champions League in 8 years. Clearance by Van de Ven up towards Richarlison, who immediately has Juan Foyth leaping, jumping, landing on his shoulders and clattering Richarlison to the deck. Free kick to Spurs on the halfway line, and a talking to for the Argentinian Juan Foyth already.
It's a ridiculous challenge from Foyth, who's just trying to get the ball's dinked up towards Richarlison, who's backing in to head the ball, and Foyth just attacks Richarlison in from behind, clatters into him. That's going to be one to watch, that, because Richarlison won't be taking a backward step, will he?
Foyth perhaps fortunate not to pick up a yellow card, and maybe that it was so early in the game, inside the opening minute, that the referee, who's from Slovenia, Rade Obrenovic, has given him a bit of leniency there. Free kick is bang on the halfway line. Vicario, wearing blue for Spurs, has come up to take it. Low delivery, not what he meant to do, but it falls for Simons, who drills in a shot that's just over the top. And the Dutchman, who looked full of vigour on his Premier League debut at the weekend, with the first shot in anger here.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that was a bit of a shank from Vicario. Ended up finding Mickey Van de Ven on the edge of the Villarreal box. A lovely little cushion volley back to Simons, and he's not far away. Right foot half volley, a yard over the bar.
No shank from Simons. Over £50 million spent on him from Leipzig. And events underway in the EFL Cup tonight at Sellers Park, where Crystal Palace are playing Millwall. Here's Aaron Paul.
Crystal Palace 0, Millwall 0. Real good start to this game here in deep South London. Yeremy Pino, left-hand side of the area, curled one towards the far corner, beaten away by the right hand of Stephen Bender. Really good save, 0-0.
If that's deep South London, are we deep north, Aaron, here in Tottenham?
No, considering I was born in Tottenham, I'd say you're just above the A10, well, just below the A10, in fact, so you're nowhere near deep North London.
No, we're just North London.
Yeah.
Also underway in the EFL Cup tonight, Sheffield Wednesday and Grimsby, and Brentford against Villa's an 8 o'clock kickoff, Old Premier League tie. That one's still 0-0. Free kick to Villarreal, 10 yards inside Tottenham territory. And getting back up to his feet there, Ayose Perez. It's only his second appearance of the new season. Plays on Saturday after recovering from a leg injury. His first start to the campaign actually came on as a sub of the weekend. Spurs have got possession with Mokudos, the Ghanaian, and that's released Berival, who's overloaded down the right-hand side, attacking the Villarreal penalty area, swings it in towards Richarlison. It's gone into the net off the goalkeeper, Lewis Jr. Spurs take the lead. It's an own goal. The keeper came out to try and block the cross. He prevented it going through to Richarlison, but Lewis Jr. has ridiculously palmed it into his own net. It's a goalkeeping howler. It gives Tottenham Hotspur the perfect start to the Champions League. Spurs 1, Villarreal 0.
Well, that's lousy, Lewis Jr. I mean, what is the goalkeeper doing? It's a good forward run from Bergvall in that right-hand channel. And from a wide area, he's trying to pick Richarlison out, who makes a run towards the far post. Right-hand side, little shift, puts it in. And Lewis Jr. goes down to his right-hand side, with both hands just palms the ball back into his own net. It is an absolute shocker. I'll tell you what, it's so difficult to do that. I mean, he's pushed the ball back from, 4 or 5 yards into his own net. The ball's going wide anyway. I don't think necessarily Richarlison's getting it. That is an absolute shocker from the goalkeeper.
If he tried that again 1,000 times, I don't think he could have done it. He's diving out off his goal line. The the ball does dip, just in keeper's toe line as it's coming in. It's just about to hit the ground as he's jumping out for it, but that should have been a routine gather. He somehow palmed it backwards from the way he's coming into his own net. Spurs can't believe their good luck. What a start for Thomas Frank.
It was a right-footed cross, an outswinger. Wasn't going in any way, shape or form. That is absolutely baffling. I bet he's never made a mistake like that in his career. No. What a night to do it on.
And he may never again. So 4 minutes, the time of the goal. Villarreal, who also conceded early on Saturday, they went 1-0 down to Atletico Madrid after 9 minutes and never recovered. So Tottenham hoping that this is an omen for them here. Here is Buchanan, the Canadian international, attacking down the left and immediately, abruptly halted by Christian Romero. Puts the ball out of play for a Villarreal throw, taken into Pape Gueye, the Senegalese international. Cross into the box, flying off his goal line. Vicario has only been able to punch it to an opposition player, and following up with the shot there, it was Jose Perez, but it goes out for a corner. Corner to Villarreal, who already trailed by a goal to 0 on 5 lines.
It's a little bit nervy from Vicario there, crossing from the left-hand side. I just wondered whether he thought a Villarreal forward was going to get their head on it, but I think he should have actually just maybe caught that, elected to fist it. And
what was he a bit spooked by what happened down the other end? He's thinking, I'm just getting rid of this, I'm not going to do anything fancy there. It was kind of a flying leap and a punch. Not very convincing from Vicario, but miles better than what Luis Junior did down the other end, conceding the own goal to give Spurs the lead here. 6 minutes on the clock, corner to Villarreal. Renato Vega's gone forward, looking for his first goal for his new team. It's a high in-swinger. It's headed by Jed Spence. Big roar from the Chelsea fans, and an even bigger one then as Juan Foyt miscued as he tries to play it into the penalty area. Such a bad ball, it actually weirdly stayed in play, so Nicolas Pepe is able to pick it up for Villarreal. Back to Renato Vega, and he will swing it out to the left-hand side to Buchanan again. Controls on his right foot. He's a right-footed player playing on the left wing. Pushes it beyond Porro, tries to sprint after it, but it's easily shepherded out for a goal kick to Spurs, who lead 1-0 here. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle, that. And that left-hand side, Tottenham's right, because Buchanan, very direct player, likes to come inside on his right foot, and I think Pedro Porro, I think his strength is going forward. Maybe not so defensively, but he'll test Porro out, Buchanan will.
That own goal from Luis Junior, the quickest goal that Tottenham have ever scored in the Champions League. This is Mickey van de Ven at the back for Spurs. Jed Spence leaves it for Simons. He'll come weaving infield, wearing that number 7 shirt, which for so long was Son Heung-min's. And then Luis Junior is out of his penalty area, and he wins the header in front of Bergvall. But he's already become the "it's behind you" pantomime villain here. He scrambled back to his goal line. Spurs tried to take the throw in quickly when he just run
I thought
back.
He did really well there, Connor. It was another forward run from Bergvall, a feature of his game, certainly this season, early stages. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but dangerous run, and had Luis Junior not got there, Bergvall would have had a one-on-one. So good goalkeeping on that occasion.
Yeah. Villarreal, who have signed the Spanish international Arnaud Tenas from Paris Saint-Germain this summer, but he's yet to make his debut for the team. So Luis Junior, who was first choice only the last couple of months of last season, has been first choice for these opening weeks. He's conceded an own goal. He did well, albeit a bit heart-stoppingly, coming out of his penalty area to put it out, and Tottenham take the throw. Bergvall arches his back, good distance on that, into the 6-yard box, and it's put out for a corner. Long throws, very much in fashion this season, Chris, and you can see why.
Yep, absolutely. Bit of Stoke City about Tottenham this evening. Bergvall actually, when he changed balls, obviously the slippery surface and what have you, went to find another ball. Why can't Tottenham just pop a couple of towels down? All the money in the Premier League these days.
I think exactly, towels should be cheaper than balls, right? But they've got plenty of them. This on the left-hand side is Buchanan, rolls it back into his own half, and touch of the midfield for Comasanya, who's played some part in all of Villarreal games this new season. Boos for Nicolas Pepe, the former Arsenal player. Arsenal spent £72 million on him, back when 72 million really was 72 million. And big draw from Spurs as he's dispossessed. He kind of dithered on the ball there, he couldn't make up his mind, and Tottenham play it out, and they get the throw as well, Spurs.
Yeah, Xavi Simons working back, doing really well, doubling up to help out Jed Spence. I've got to say though, he did dither, but I thought he was fouled, and Villarreal should have had a free kick.
First goal of the 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Champions League has come in Portugal. Benfica have taken the lead against Qarabag. Of the other games, of course, because Spurs scoring early here with the own goal from Luis Junior. Groans around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as their team give away the ball in midfield. Pape Gueye inside the centre circle, looking up, seeing what's available, gives it to the left-hand side. And back in from Cardona, Sergi Cardona to Renato Vega. Villarreal wearing all yellow, the shirts, the shorts, the socks, and Spurs in all white. Renato Vega again. Good pass into the midfield to pick out the Georgian Mikotadze, and he's been able to turn and lays out a pass to the left-hand side to Cardona. Mikotadze now makes his way into the penalty area. Pape Gueye tried to loft it in, too much elevation, and it sails over Vicario, and the comfort of a goal kick for Spurs, who lead 1-0.
Yeah, sharp play from Mikotadze. Didn't know a lot about him until the Euro 2024. He ended up being joint top scorer, but he's been sharp in these early stages. Of course, signed from Villarreal with last season. Tiano Barry ended up going to Everton, so he's the replacement. Marcelino will be hoping for a good return goals-wise.
10 minutes played here, Spurs leading 1-0. Some news from elsewhere in Europe. Real Madrid are playing Marseille, and Trent Alexander-Arnold making his first Champions League appearance for Real Madrid. He's gone down with a hamstring injury. We think he's going to be replaced. Dani Carvajal is come on from place of him. So disappointing start for Trent Alexander-Arnold in the Champions League in Real Madrid colours. Here in North London, Bentancur, who's dropped in between the two central defenders, plays the ball out to the right-hand side to Pedro Porro. Porro, who turned 26 last week. Long crossfield, accurate ball onto the chest of Xavi Simons, who takes on the fullback, Muquinho. Muquinho stands his ground, though. Xavi Simons comes in and pushes him again. Good pressure from the Dutchman. The fullback's a much taller player than Simons, but Simons is putting that pressure on, getting involved physically, and making it difficult for Villarreal to clear the ball away.
Yeah, actually defended that really well. Looked like Xavi Simons was going to get there at first.
Here's a chance for the visitors from Spain. Pepe launching himself towards the penalty area, onto the left boot, shoots low, off target. Best chance for Villarreal of the night. They're going to get a corner. The shot from Nicolas Pepe deflected, and that was a good surge from him. He picked it up midway inside Tottenham territory, and he let fly with the shot just outside the penalty area. It did take a deflection. That would have been headed for the bottom corner otherwise.
Yeah, you know his danger coming in up from that right-hand side onto his left foot. He breezes past Ramiro as a good counter-attack. You don't want to give him too many shooting opportunities. That deflection, I think, fortunate for Spurs. I think that was heading in.
Tottenham's goal tonight came 3 minutes 8 seconds after kick-off. A very early goal for Thomas Frank at his first Champions League game as a head coach. Villarreal corner, in swing, and Richarlison wins the header of the front post. Then it's Mourinho who tries to play it back into the penalty area. Anywhere will do for Pedro Porro as he lashes it away. Spurs appealing the deflection.
I thought it hit Bergval's hand, and I think, is it Buchanan having a word with the referee there? Slight deflection off his hand, bouncing ball, but nothing doing as far as I can see.
Well, there is, of course, video assistant referee, as there will be for all the Champions League games. They'll be looking at that in the background, but no evidence of a check that's going to delay the game here. In fact, the screen has just gone green here to say that check is over, check complete, no penalty, but they did look at that. 13 minutes played, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Villarreal 0. England against Spain in the Champions League. Renato Vega out to Sergi Cardona. Back into Renato Vega, who spent the second half of last season on loan at Juventus. Got turned by Juan Foyt, and he has the confidence then to try and surge his way past Richarlison. Villarreal hold on to possession inside their own half. It's a good high press this from Thomas Frank's team. They're making it difficult for Comasagna and his friends to come out of their own half, but Comasagna does break over the halfway line. Good lunge by Mickey van de Ven. They can keep Van de Ven, Romero fit, Spurs throughout the campaign. It could be all the difference. This is Kudus on the far side, comes infield, nice accurate ball to Pape Sarr. Sarr encourages Jed Spence, who played for England earlier on this month in Serbia, to come up towards the halfway line. No real panic or urgency for Spurs though, and Spence is happy to play it calmly back in field, and maybe that's a little bit of the evidence of the difference. And I think under Ange Postecoglou last season, Spence would have only been looking to surge forward.
Yeah, well, yeah, Frank ball a bit more balanced than Ange ball. Got the lead, Spurs, and happy to say, well, you know, we'll play at our own pace. Villarreal, they've got that 4-4-2 set up when out of possession, but They are building with the sort of three at the back, and they'll get the left back Cardone on that left-hand side.
Earlier on this evening, Arsenal won in Bilbao. Commentary tomorrow on 5 Live and BBC Sounds of Bayern Munich against Chelsea. 8 o'clock kickoff. We'll also bring you updates of Liverpool's match against Atletico Madrid. Spurs leading 1-0 here thanks to an own goal by Brazilian goalkeeper Luis Junior. As Pedro Porro has possession on the halfway line. Calmly, left foot plays it to Christian Romero. Romero gives it back to Pedro Porro. That late arrival of Villarreal fans hasn't happened, Chris. They're still very much taking up barely a quarter of their allocation down there. As Simons is tackled by Mourinho and the ball goes out for a throw into Tottenham. Tomorrow we'll also bring you more live League Cup coverage and Sports Extra. Swansea City against Nottingham Forest is available to listen. The full game from 5 to 8 tomorrow evening. Mickey van de Ven rolls it back to Guglielmo Vicario. Spurs who will play away at Bodo Glimt next in the league phase. Then they go to Monte Carlo to play Monaco. And the next Champions League visitors here to North London will be Copenhagen. And after that, it's a trip to the Champions League holders, Paris Saint-Germain. There's some good games coming up for Spurs.
I actually think Spurs have, dare I say it, people get angry about this sort of stuff, but I think they've got quite a generous draw. Tottenham, you know, you think Copenhagen, but at home Slavia Prague at home. You know, see this through tonight, they'll be in a really strong position, Tottenham. I know it's only one game, but get off to a fast start, that'll give them great confidence.
This league phase, which continues through until January, then it's into the knockout phases. Pap Sarr scored the weekend, has made a good surge forward here. 1 Foyth, the nearest defender to him. Kudus in support, crossing position on the right wing, just a few yards from the byline for Spurs here. Bergvall has offered himself as an option, but Kudus prefers Porro, who returns it to Kudus. Now he's going to try and chop his way. Good turn into the penalty area. Good patience. Now he tees up. Bentancur, whose shot is deflected and out for a corner. Good patient build-up from Spurs there. They bided their time. They waited for the opportunity. And we go an update for Brentford against Aston Villa with Chris Wise.
0-0, 18 minutes played, one chance of Villa. Harvey Elliott, hooked volley towards goal from outside the box, easily held. He's making his first start. Jadon Sancho on debut tonight. 0-0 in deep West London.
Deep West London. It is Benfica 2, Karabakh 0. Second goal for the Portuguese club there. Corner to Spurs, who lead by a goal to 0 here. Xavi Simons is going to take it, raising his left hand as a signal to the teammate to the middle. Plays an in-swinger. Bergvall was so close to that, and it's just about cleared away by Buchanan. Good delivery from Simons.
It was good delivery, and just for a second I was like you, I thought Bergvall was going to get on the end of it. Didn't quite get on the end of it, but got the goal at the weekend, didn't they? Spurs from a corner, and there's something Thomas Frank, I think he takes great pride in, doesn't it, his set plays, and here comes another long throw.
Bergvall's going to take the throw this time. That goal he scored at West Ham on Saturday was his first ever Premier League goal. Here he comes, good distance on the throw, all the way to the edge of the 6-yard box. Renato Vega wins the header, and Mikotadze tries to clear it away to Buchanan. Oh, he's taken that really well, Buchanan. He was sandwiched in between two opponents. He managed to sort of push it forward with his stomach, but Bentancur, prowling after him, wins the ball for Spurs. Bergvall is fouled. Referee says play on because Tottenham still have possession. Good recovery there from Bentancur.
Yeah, brilliant. That's what he's there for. He's their insurance policy, isn't he? Sarr and Bergvall will make those lung-busting forward runs, and Bentancur is just sat in front of Romero and Van de Ven there to break the play up, and the counter-attacks did it superbly.
Spurs tried to attack down the left-hand side because Pepe gets possession. Tottenham thought it went out of play. Referee said it didn't. Simons wins it back again. Bergvall has the confidence to allow it past his body, knowing it was going to reach Pap Sarr, who continues Tottenham's attack down the left-hand side. Porro, Bergvall nods it down on the edge of the area. Pap Sarr inside the box now, wide on the right-hand side, hangs in across. Xavi Simons, for a moment I thought he was going to attempt a bicycle kick there. Instead he tried to take it down. Spurs hold on to possession, but they're back outside the penalty area with Jed Spence on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and they're really taking the game now to Villarreal. Kudus getting more involved. Really clever play moments earlier, driving the outside. We know he's always trying to set defenders up to go on that inside.
Early goals always help, of course, but this has been an encouraging start from a Tottenham Hotspur point of view. Their opening game of the Champions League this season. Bentancur back to Christian Romero. Romero, who scored in the UEFA Super Cup final that Tottenham played in last month, of course. Beaten on penalties by Paris Saint-Germain. A few boos again for Nicolas Pepe. Good feet, but he tried to take them all on there, and Richarlison, the third Tottenham player he tried to go past, was able to stop him. As Perez comes forward, space for Buchanan on the left-hand side. Villarreal looking to recover from the early own goal. Bergvall back to help out Christian Romero. Tottenham's work rate impressive, and now they come out of defence confidently. Short triangular passes. Bergvall is fouled. Free kick to Spurs, 10 yards or so outside their penalty area.
Just got to be careful. Jose Perez, intelligent play, is not going to really play up against the Tottenham centre-half, but popping into those areas which can hurt Tottenham.
They're overloading down the left. Simons pushes it in front of Jed Spence, tries to send in a low cross, deflected off Mourinho and was goal-bound, and Lewis Jr. had to change direction and ensure that didn't go in for a second own goal.
Yeah, a comfortable save in the end, but first time we've really seen Jed Spence get forward on that left-hand side, and the early cross, and yeah, Villarreal get away with that one.
And tomorrow there'll be coverage on day 5 of the World Athletics Championships on BBC 2 from 11 a.m. and on BBC 1 from 2 p.m. It includes the men's 1500 metre final with Josh Kerr, which you can of course listen to on 5 Live as well. Cheers of encouragement for Spurs as they win possession and come on the attack down the right-hand side. Porro's right-footed delivery, headed down by Juan Foyth. Sits up for Papsar, urged to shoot by the Tottenham fans. He tried to pass and it wasn't a good pass, but then Van de Ven crunches into a tackle. Spurs thought they'd won back possession, but he's actually fouled the opponent. Free kick to Villarreal, who trail by a goal to 0 here. We've played 21 minutes.
I don't know what Mickey Van de Ven was protesting to the referee about. That was a big shoulder barge into the back of Perez, who just drifted off to receive the ball on the half turn, and Van de Ven bulldozed into the back of him.
Play back underway. Richarlison dispossessed inside the centre circle. Pape for Villarreal through Buchanan onto Cardona on the left-hand side. That's a really good touch. Mikotadze trying to get it into the penalty area, and the quickest to alert for Spurs again was Bentancur. Well, the flag is raised. Villarreal were offside through Buchanan, but Bentancur wasn't to know that, and he really reacted well to get there first, considering the opponent had the head start of him being offside.
Yeah, clever touch outside of the right boot from Mikotadze. I think Buchanan had drifted far too early. I think he was a good yard and a half, 2 yards offside, but Bentancur has got to be switched on in that position, and he has been this evening so far.
That men's 1500 metre final at the World Athletics Championship tomorrow could bring GB's first medal. 3 Brits, Josh Kerr, the defending champion, Jake Waitman, who was the champion in 2022, and Neil Gourley involved. Due off at 2:20, so it should be part of the Matt Shorley show tomorrow, but also available to watch on BBC television. Spurs lead by a goal to 0 midway through the first half of their opening Champions League game of the campaign. First European night here since the departure of Daniel Levy, of course. Van de Ven has it 10 yards inside his own half. Calmly gives it to Bentancur. Hasn't really been a high press from Villarreal at any stage tonight. They don't allow gaps for Tottenham to get in around behind them. There's Porro, neat footwork to get it up to Kudos. He'll return it to Porro. Little shuffle to get away from Mikotadze. And then Porro runs into Buchanan and the ball goes out for a throw, but it will be a Spurs throw on the far side.
Villarreal are setting up, and they're not really allowing Tottenham to play through them in the centre of the pitch. Everything out wide for Tottenham in these early stages.
The reigning Europa League holders against the winners of that competition a few years back in Villarreal. Van de Ven, no pressure on him. Calmly rolls it back to Vicario, who stepped outside of his penalty area. Over to Porro on the far side. Tottenham's right now. They tried to launch it. Looking for Bergvall, attacked those runs down the right wing to good effect against West Ham at the weekend. Beaten in the air by Renato Vega this time. It's going to come down inside the centre circle for Jose Perez. Good touch. Pepe tries to return it back into the middle. Jose Perez is going to run after this. Romero comes across and he judged the bounce well, but his touch is a bit sloppy. Gives it to Nicolas Pepe. Just outside the box, there's no one marking Buchanan, and he should have scored. Big chance for Villarreal. Side-footed, he puts it wide. He went for accuracy, Chris. He didn't blaze it. That should have been on target.
Yeah, that was a golden opportunity for Buchanan. Romero did well initially to get back and snuff the threat out from Villarreal, but then it's just a sloppy pass, and Nicolas Pepe, right-hand side of the box, plays a left-footed ball into Buchanan, who's free. There's a bird, 12 yards out. Vicario to beat, just strolls onto the ball, and you're right, he goes for accuracy into the far corner, and the ball goes well wide. That is a horrible miss. Villarreal should be level.
Tayon Buchanan, who was on loan at Villarreal last season, he made his move from Inter permanent in the summer. Mentioned that he scored a hat-trick in La Liga against Girona last month, and that is just a little reminder to Spurs that even though they've had a great start here, that there's still a long way to go. I mean, their lead could have evaporated instantly there. Let's go for an update to one of the EFL games tonight. Sheffield Wednesday against Grimsby, who of course eliminated Manchester United in the last round. What's the latest from there? Julia Bold.
Yes, it is Sheffield's Wednesday 0, Grimsby 0. We've had 40 minutes go and it has been all Grimsby so far. They really should be in front. Both wingers as well for Sheffield Wednesday have now been substituted. Rhys Johnson was injured. Olaf Kabaki was just taken off. It's still 0-0 at Hillsborough.
Thanks, Julia. 1-0 to Tottenham here. Jet Spence preparing to take a throw-in down below us. Gives it to the feet of Bentancur. Simons back to Van de Ven inside Tottenham territory. Plenty of space in the centre for Christian Romero. It's the 15th time Spurs have taken on Spanish opposition in European competition. They've only had 2 wins in these games in the past. Simons fouled, free kick. Villarreal, who tried to impose themselves physically, but giving away free kicks at the moment. Marseille have taken the lead against Real Madrid. Timothy Weah has scored. Real Madrid 0, Marseille 1 in Madrid after 25 minutes.
That probably means Madrid will win the Champions League then, doesn't it?
Yes, there is a track record, be it World Cups, Champions League. You don't do well in your first game, you have to go on and win the whole thing. Tottenham doing well so far. Jet Spence just over the halfway line into Simons. Those two trying to combine again, but Pepe's able to win it back. Gives it to Mourinho.
Just watching Marcelino in his technical area, I think he's 60 years old. I mean, his movement is absolutely fantastic. I hope I'm like him, as nimble as him and as agile as him when I'm 60.
He is nimble, isn't he? He doesn't have a pick on him. Yeah, he's wiry and alert. Marcelino, been in the job almost 2 years of the latest stint. Here comes Kudos into the penalty area for Spurs. Patient tries to crack in the shot. Renato Vega makes an important block and Buchanan clears away. He was almost in the edge of the 6-yard box when he eventually struck that, Kudos.
That's incredible how far that the Villarreal backline backed off then. Kudos ended up shooting 8 yards out and Vega gets the block in, but you cannot back off that far. You have to engage near the edge of the box there. Can't let players of Kudos' quality drive into the box and get a free shot. They got lucky there, Villarreal.
Marcelino, very experienced coach. This is his 22nd year as a manager, over 1,000 games. Voted Coach of the Year in Spain in 2007 and again 11 years later in 2018. Villarreal, though, hoping to come from behind here tonight. 28 minutes of the big stadium clock. Spurs 1, Villarreal 0. Let's go back to deepest South London, to Sellers Park. I believe there's been chances. Palace Millwall, Aaron Paul.
Look, let me tell you something, Cod. I got a decent grade in geography. I can tell you, this is deep South London. This is proper South London. Is Brentford proper deep West London? Not sure. Anyway, 0-0 Crystal Palace. It's the former Villarreal man Yeremy Pino's running the show for the Eagles. He's just dragged a right-footed shot wide of Stephen Bender's post. Here, though, at Selhurst, it's 0-0.
What's a decent grade in geography, Aaron?
Good question. What's decent?
I got an A. I wish I'd got an A star, but
that's better than decent. Come on, that's really good. You're being humble, Aaron. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
didn't
so
get
sure
many
he got
other
an
A's.
A.
I didn't get many other A's. I'll tell you that for free. Like I did not.
Are you questioning Aaron's honesty about his exactly?
Well,
he's questioning.
Let's not go there.
Oh, I can see Aaron producing slips and receipts and documents and the whole lot. Free kick to the referee's reaching for the pocket here, and Xavi Simons picks up the first yellow card of the game. So there's been a few tussles between those two. Mourinho, who's fouled Simons a few times. They're both challenging for the ball. He's a split second late. Xavi Simons, so he steps on the foot. I don't think there's any great intent there, but a yellow card is the punishment.
I think that's so harsh. I mean, there's a genuine attempt to win the ball from Simons, and he's slightly late, and he stood on Mourinho's right boot, and it's a bit sore, but accidental. That's, for a first challenge, that's a harsh one to see yellow.
Bentancur, strong, robust in the midfield, releases Kudus. Great touch for Kudus to wriggle away from a challenge. Gets to the edge of the penalty area. He's got the support of Jed Spence on the left-hand side. That's really good driving run from Kudus. Papsar has a crack, needed to be saved. Goalkeeper diving down to his right. Good effort from Papsar, who scored against West Ham at the weekend.
Yeah, tried to beat Lewis Jr. at his near post, 20 yards out. The angle wasn't on for him to bend it into the far corner, so tried to wrap his foot round it, and Lewis Jr. alert, good save down to his right-hand side.
Bentancur's lost it in the midfield here, and it's a chance for Villarreal to come forward. Papke, good ball up to the edge of the box. Down goes Mikatadze though. No free kick for him. Bergvall with a trick. Dangerous on the edge of his own penalty area there, but the trick worked. And now the chance of a Tottenham counter-attack. Villarreal have got plenty yellow shirts back. Simons gives it to Kudus, who swapped his position on the right wing for the left just at the moment, and he'll roll it infield to Papsar. Equaliser for Real Madrid elsewhere in the Champions League. They are back about 6 minutes after going 1-0 down to Marseille. Kylian Mbappe from the penalty spot has made it Real Madrid 1, Olympique Marseille 1. And Karabakh have got one back in Lisbon. Benfica, who were leading 2-0 there, it's now Benfica 2, Karabakh 1. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Match day 1 of the new Champions League season, and half an hour played here with Spurs leading at home to Villarreal.
Yeah, and Karabakh, Rory Smith, Monday Night Club's Rory Smith, he thought they might do pretty well in the competition, he said in his BBC predictions. I'm not sure I'm with him. Got to say, the challenge from Romero just a couple of moments earlier, absolutely crucial on Mikatadze. I think Buchanan to his left-hand side was free. Tell you what they do well, Villarreal, when they break, they get numbers forward, don't they? And Tottenham outnumbered at the back. Villarreal giving Tottenham a real game here.
So just making a note, so it's Aaron Paul's geography skills and it's Rory Smith's prediction skills. Who's next? Who's next from Sutton? Spurs lose it on the edge of the penalty area that they're attacking. Kudus was his foot high there. Referee says it was. Free kick to Villarreal. Boos around the stadium will tell you what the Tottenham fans think of that. Not to sound a bit old-fashioned, but I think that's one. In the Premier League, you might have got away with that, but the European referee, that seemed to be a high leg. I don't know it was.
I don't even think that he necessarily touched him, did he? I'm not so sure it was that high. I mean, Buchanan is considerably taller than Kudus and seemed to get his leg higher than Kudus. A strange decision.
Yeah, that was
a bit niggly, isn't it?
Yeah, hang on, the cards are flowing now because Richarlison has got a card.
That's unlike him.
Something happened between him and Juan Foyt. I think it was off the ball, but spotted by the referee. And we're going to see a replay here. Foyt had it, releases the pass, and then Richarlison comes in late. And again, is it a free kick? Is it worthy of a yellow card?
Well, that's a bit silly from Richarlison. He's probably been thinking, for 31 minutes about the earlier challenge from Foyt and thought, I'm going to get you eventually. And did do. He was slightly late. He just puts himself under unnecessary pressure.
Yeah. It's cleared away by Cardona on the far side, but straight to Christian Romero inside his own half. So the yellow cards beginning to rack up now. Simons and Richarlison being shown yellow, and Spurs still leading after that early own goal. Luis Jr., the Brazilian, who somehow almost a comedy error, managing to push Bergvall's cross from the right-hand side into his own net, having dived off his goal line. Everything should have propelled the ball away from goal, but he somehow managed to flick it back into his own unguarded net. Bad goal from a Villarreal point of view. Important goal for Spurs, though. This is Bergvall again. There's a lovely touch. And he's brought down in a free kick. And too hot to handle there. Yellow card is now shown to Santi Comasagna, who was absolutely turned inside out by Bergvall there and felt he'd no choice than to bring him down.
Yeah, so intelligent, Bergvall. Straight ball into him. Lets the ball run across his body. Takes it on the back foot away from Comasagna. What a start to the season Bergvall has had. Highly intelligent player. And he's been the real danger for Tottenham this evening, drifting forward. His forward runs have been excellent. And his awareness there, absolutely top draw.
Bergvall, who got to play, plenty for the first team last season, but this really could be his breakthrough season. This could be the one where he stamps himself on the Premier League and maybe the Champions League too. You've got to keep reminding yourself he's still only 19 years of age. He's a real prodigy. This is Kudus, crossing position on the right-hand side. Romero had stayed up for the free kick. Richarlison goes down. That did look like a dive to me. Referee waves away the penalty appeals. Richarlison stays down, and Villarreal tried to counter-attack down the other end. Porro tries to make a tackle, but he's not strong enough. Papsar tries to commit a foul, but the referee plays the advantage, and then Simons wins it back for Spurs. And bad tackles going in everywhere. Mourinho now, he's going to get a yellow card for taking down Simons, and there were 3 or 4 really X-rated challenges there in a very quick space of time.
And they'll be looking to see whether this should have been a penalty for Tottenham. Richarlison is still down, and then just bedlam all over the pitch, bodies flying everywhere, tackles going in. Richarlison is still down, is now sat up and protesting. Romero, I think, is having a word with the referee, saying, well, why is that not a penalty? Let's have a look.
Right, well, my first instinct, I thought he dived, and I'm seeing the replay, and I take that back. He didn't. He has been connected with inside the penalty area, and that is why the VAR is looking at this. Papke, lunging for the ball, gets a touch on Richarlison. Now, is it enough to put him down and to get a penalty? I don't think it is going to swing the opinion of the officials here. But it was maybe more of a close thing than I initially thought.
It's one of those, as a former centre forward myself, you're trying to get your body across the defender, and he did. He got his right boot across Papsar, but was there sufficient contact for him to fall in that manner? I think not. Hence why no penalty awarded. I think he made the most of that.
Yeah.
I don't like to say it, Connor. I've done it myself at times. Goes down a little bit too easily there.
There is contact, but it's a contact sport, and the way he goes down implied that the contact was something other than it actually was inside the penalty area. Anyway, referee on the field got it right, said no penalty. VAR looked at it all, and they agree, and it remains Spurs 1, Villarreal 0 here. Let's go to Julia Ball back at Hillsborough. Half-time now between Sheffield Wednesday and Grimsby. Julia.
Yeah, and it is 0-0 at the break, but it has been all the visitors, despite them being the League Two opposition. Probably the best chance, Rhys Staunton had a long-range effort quite early on, and it's all Sheffield United keeper Ethan Horvath have to punch away that ball. It's a really eerie feeling here as well, actually, because the home fans refusing to attend games. So the Kop have counted it, there's 6 in the Kop tonight. 5,000 though travelling fans in contrast, but they will not buy anything, they say, inside the stadium to stand in solidarity with the home supporters and their protest against the owner. So at the break, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby 0.
Thanks, Julie. So no goals in tonight's 3 EFL Cup games. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby Town 0, Brentford 0, Aston Villa 0, and Palace 0, Millwall 0. Still in the first half in the latter 2 of those games, because they kicked off as we did here in the Champions League at Spurs at 8 o'clock. Cheers for Luis Jr., the Brazilian goalkeeper who pushed it into his own net for the early own goal. Tottenham fans enjoyed that. This is Juan Foyth, the former Spurs player, clearing it away towards Buchanan. Was that a push in the back for Pedro Porro? Referee was right beside it, and he says no. So Tottenham have possession. Porro, right-hand side of the midfield, gives it to Mohamed Kudus. Early ball onto Bergvall. Keeps finding those positions on the right. Cross comes in. Did it strike the arm? It did, of Renato Vega. He's outside the penalty area, but it comes off his arm, and that is a free kick to Spurs. Crossing position on the right-hand side of Renato Vega. Very fortunate he wasn't inside the box there.
Yep, it's an outstretched arm from Vega, and once again Bergvall, that forward run, especially in that right-hand channel, doing so well for Tottenham and causing Villarreal all sorts of problems. They haven't come to terms with Bergvall. And the early cross and the handball, Vega really stupid to do that. And here's a chance for Tottenham from a set piece.
This is similar to a corner, maybe an even more threatening angle. 5 yards from the byline, a couple of paces outside the penalty area. Mickey van der Ven's gone forward, Richarlison's in there, Christian Romero.
Will this be one of those where a lot of bodies in there, where it's a pull back on the floor, maybe to Xavi Simons, who's standing on the edge of the box, or Richarlison around the back?
Romero, who had a goal disallowed at West Ham, maybe harshly at the weekend. The referee needs eyes in the back of their head here as they try to cover all bases. Corners on the right, free kicks on the right-hand side. Feels like a corner. It'll either be an in-swinger from Kudus or an out-swinger from Porro, and the pushing and shoving so much even before the kick was taken that the referee has called across Romero and Mourinho, I think it is, to have a chat with them.
It's Richarlison again, isn't it? I think what's going to happen here, or they're trying to work a block here for Simmons to come on and lash it in.
Simmons lurking on the edge of the D. No one's picked him up. It's played by Porro. It's a header by Bentancur. Say header. It was more of a shoulder, side of the neck, and it doesn't threaten the goal. Spurs still lead 1-0.
Yeah, they didn't do what I thought eventually. And the ball fizzed in. Difficult one for Bentancur. He scored 1 or 2 crucial headers for Tottenham, but off the shoulder over the bar.
Tomorrow we'll bring you commentary of Bayern Munich against Chelsea, 8 o'clock kickoff on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Thursday there'll be commentary of Newcastle United against Barcelona. That's an 8 o'clock start on 5 Live. And you can listen to Manchester City against Napoli, the return of Kevin De Bruyne to the Etihad Stadium. That is available on Sports Extra. Another challenge on Richarlison, another free kick to Spurs.
Yeah, Richarlison doing well. They're surrounded by 3 yellow jerseys. Manoeuvred himself into a position where he won a free kick.
Good start for Tottenham with the early goal. Thomas Frank might be a little concerned they haven't produced too many other goal scoring opportunities since then. Perhaps started a good shot, but there hasn't been much for Simons or for Kudus or for Richarlison to threaten with. Simons tries to attack down the left-hand side here. Mourinho's the defender. Simons hoping he'll get a corner at the end of this. And the referee takes his time before indicating no. Goal kick to Villarreal.
Yeah, defended well, haven't they? Villarreal in the main. It's, Marcelino, the Villarreal coach, will be thinking, blimey, without that error, you could argue, they've been pretty well balanced. Maybe haven't worked Vicario enough in the Tottenham goal, but they had that huge opportunity, which Buchanan didn't take.
Earlier on this evening, Arsenal 2-0 away at Athletic Bilbao. Goals from Martinelli and from Trossard late on. Simons into the penalty area. It might have been a handball. Simons shoots anyway. Shot goes wide. They're appealing. It came off a hand. And the referee's got his finger to his ear very dramatically because he doesn't want the protest from the players on the pitch. He's telling them, I'm waiting to hear from the VAR. So ball into the penalty area. I think proximity is going to help out Pape Gueye here. It does come off. Maybe his own boot up onto his arm, but not much he could do to react to that and check over, and I think they've got that right,
yeah,
to be fair.
Absolutely right. It was Xavi Simons, left-hand side of the box, ball into to Bergvall on the inside, and the ball does pop up onto Pape Gueye's right hand, but Xavi Simons follows his initial pass and gets a shot off. It's half a chance, that is. He fizzes the ball wide, right-hand post of Lewis Jr. That would have been incredibly harsh. Had to be awarded a penalty for that.
Just over 2 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs leading Villarreal by 1-0, and there has been a goal in the EFL Cup. Brentford against Aston Villa. Chris Wise.
And finally, Aston Villa have a goal this season. Brentford 0, Aston Villa 1. It's a Brentford gift, though, that's opted the opportunity to Harvey Elliott on his first start for Aston Villa, and he's managed to slip the ball somehow under Valdemar. It's an awful piece of goalkeeping, if truth be told. You've seen one there tonight. We've got one here as well. It's gone right through his legs, and there wasn't a great deal of power on it, but Villa will take it. Brentford 0, Villa 1.
So Harvey Elliott, who came on as a substitute at Everton at the weekend for Aston Villa, getting on the score sheet there. Simons has possession for Spurs. He's looking for teammates in space over the far side, and he picks out a long crossfield ball to Pedro Porro. Porro, who's worked well in tandem with Kudus in this first half. Kudus does a little dance over it and creates space for Porro to send it across. Keeper's out again. It's only a flap. Simons, no angle to shoot. Spence, Richarlison in the penalty area, side netting off the defender Foyth. And that's a corner to Spurs. They were queuing up, but they couldn't get a clean shot at goal.
Yeah, and Lewis Jr., I think he does all right here. I think the ball from Pedro Porro is so good. Whipped in from the right-hand side. Pace on the money across the 6-yard line. Lewis Jr. gets a right hand, and then the ball eventually worked to Richarlison. Angle against him on the left-hand side, deflected wide.
Corner's going to be taken by Simons, left-hand side as Spurs come forward. Final 30 seconds of normal time in the first half on 5 Live and BBC Sounds from North London. Goalkeeper comes and punches clear again. Villarreal slow to come out. Jed Spence tries to hook it back towards the edge of their penalty area, controlled well by Papsar down there. This is Kudus in a central position. Back out to Papsar on the left wing. Behind him, Bentancur. Good control from Tottenham. As he sells a little dummy to Nicolas Pepe. The Spurs fans enjoyed that against the old Arsenal player. Bentancur again, very relaxed, rolls it back to Vicario. So into stoppages at the end of the first half. 1 goal between the teams and 1 minute to be added on as the additional. Vicario pumps it long. Santiago Mourinho is able to rise and put the ball out of place. So Spurs get a throw in near the halfway line. No urgency now for Jed Spence. So a positive opening 45 minutes for Thomas Frank. Not perfect from Spurs, but he'll be pleased enough with how this has gone so far.
Absolutely. I thought that the teams are pretty well matched and this would be a tight game. Always going to have to work at it against Villarreal, and how well organised they are under their coach Marcelino. And Spurs may be fortunate to go in the lead, but no, they've got a lot of work to do in the second half.
Dispute as to whether there was a foul on Kudus on the far side. The referee said no. Throw into Villarreal. Tottenham, who did spend a lot of money this summer, their net spend of 151 million, the 4th highest in the Premier League. Only Arsenal, Liverpool and Man United have spent more. As the whistle blows for half-time, and it's the own goal. Lewis Jr., he'll be embarrassed when he sees the replays back of that again. He's done okay in what's been thrown at him since then. It all came from the cross from Bergvall on the right-hand side. Spurs, who've been full of activity, they've been hard running, they've defended well, and they lead here at half-time.
It's been pretty. It's been a pretty even game. Bergvall's been outstanding for Tottenham. Those forward runs being a feature of his game. That led to the first goal. Horrible goalkeeping error, but Villarreal, of course, Tottenham 1 or 2 problems. Should have equalised with Buchanan. Had a brilliant opportunity, was under no pressure and hit the ball wide. But Thomas Frank, big half-time team talk, but Spurs in a pretty good place.
Villarreal, who only had 1 shot in that first half and it was off target. Can they do better in the second half? For now, Spurs 1, Villarreal 0.
It was off target, Chris, but it should have been in the back of the net.
Oh yeah, I mean it wasn't like he was under any pressure. You know, he had plenty of time to compose himself, Buchanan, and just strolling onto the ball. That's a horrible miss. At this level, should be burying that. I mean, let alone working the goalkeeper. You often hear people say, well, they should work the goalkeeper. Should have found a corner there. That was an easy opportunity. He missed it. It's a tight game. And Spurs still got work to do, but Villarreal, they're a well-organised team and they certainly get bodies forward. They'd like to create more chances themselves, but this game ain't over yet.
After the opening goal, Spurs tweeted, Chris, well, they all count, which about sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, the life of a goalkeeper. I mean, the chances of the ball going in from that type of cross, a right-footed, as a low cross, right-footed sort of out swinger as such, and the goalkeeper's diving to his right-hand side. It's like 4 or 5 yards out, and then he somehow hooks it back over the line. It's actually really difficult to do. I don't know how he's done that. I don't know whether he would. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, if you tried that, it's really difficult to pull that back into your own goal. But he did it really well. I don't know how he did it, but he did. Fair play to him.
It's always difficult to put anything like this, Connor, in context. But I do feel like it is one of the worst I've seen in quite a long time.
It's just unusual, I mean, often when a goalkeeper scores an own goal, it's something like it's come off a post and hits him on his back, or nothing you could really do about it. This one, there was everything he could have done about it. It was a freak. And look, let's be fair. I think Tottenham are very grateful to have it, because if that hadn't happened, we'd be saying, okay, 0-0. Spurs need to do much better because they've got that goal. They've got something to defend now.
All right, you two, thank you very much. So Tottenham 1, Villarreal 0, half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll bring you second half commentary, of course, on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We'll bring you some reaction before that to Athletic Bilbao 0, Arsenal 2. The other full-time, Royal Union Saint-Gilloise on their Champions League debut, winning 3-1 at PSV. There are 3 other games ongoing, a couple of really big ties. We're reaching half-time. John Bennett, what have you got your eye on?
Yes, just a minute to go until half-time between Real Madrid and Marseille. It is 1-1. Marseille took the lead. Timothy Weah, son of George, with the goal. Brilliant work by Mason Greenwood. Got the ball off Arda Güler, played it to Weah, who made it 1-0 after Real Madrid had dominated, but they did equalise Real Madrid 5 minutes later. Kondogbia brought down Rodrigo in the box and Kylian Mbappe scored his 5th of the season. The big story, though, Trent Alexander-Arnold, only his 3rd start of the season, forced off with a hamstring injury after only 3 minutes. Elsewhere, Juventus 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Very scrappy game. Jonathan David with a shot over the bar for Juve. And Benfica 2, Qarabag 1. Benfica were 2-0 up within 15 minutes. Bad news for Rory Smith, Steve, from the Monday Night Club, because he talked up Qarabag on Monday Night's show, but they're 2-1 down.
I've got to say, I'm thoroughly disappointed with what's happening in that Juve-Dortmund game.
It's really poor, to be honest.
Because
hardly any chances.
From a BBC World Service perspective as well, Serhou Guirassy, the Dortmund striker, is absolutely perfect. He's Ghanaian, isn't he? He cannot stop scoring. So when you sort of marry that with Juve the other day in the Derby d'Italia, we were expecting better.
Yeah, 4-3 win. Juve have been in brilliant form. 4-3 win over Inter at the weekend. 3 wins in 3. But most of the game is taking place in the Juve half. Borussia Dortmund at the moment, the better side. But hoping for better second half, 0-0.
Thanks very much. That's John Bennett. He'll be back with us at full time once we're done with Spurs, Villarreal, Tottenham 1-0 up at the break. League Cup 3rd round ties ongoing. Aston Villa scored a goal at Brentford and now it's half time. Chris Wise.
Yeah, and that was the chant actually coming from the Villa fans immediately afterwards. We've scored a goal. Slight bit of irony in that. First of the season for Villa, and they're winning 1-0 at Brentford, scored by Harvey Elliott. But Villa can thank Brentford's backline for gifting them the opportunity, because initially McGinn hurried Janelt into losing possession. It bounced into the path of the on-loan Liverpool man Harvey Elliott, and his shot ended up going through both the hands and the legs of the Brentford goalkeeper Håkan Valdemarson, who was retreating slightly as Elliott got his shot away. He's added a bit of bite and hunger, Elliott, on his first start for Villa to their play tonight. Brentford haven't created a huge amount, and at the break it's Brentford 0, Aston Villa 1.
Half-time at Selhurst, Palace Millwall, Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Palace 0, Millwall 0. This one has been a slow burner. Both sides have had opportunities. Palace's best have come through the former Villarreal man, Yeremy Pino, playing up front alongside Jean-Philippe Mateta. He's drawn a good save out of Stephen Bender, curling another shot wide. Millwall have actually had the better of the chances, though. Kamil Negli has fired a 1v1 wide, with debutant Walter Benitez having to produce some solid saves from Mihailo Ivanovic and Zach Sturge. Palace have actually been wasteful at times in possession. A positive half for Millwall, though. It's still 0-0.
And it must be a bizarre night at Hillsborough. Roughly 3,000 home fans and 6,000 away supporters. Sheffield Wednesday, Grimsby, Julia Bowles.
Yeah, we have got restarted here. We're 2 minutes into the second half. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby 0. And you're right, it feels like a Grimsby home game, this. The Sheffield Wednesday sides were sent out really early as well. You would imagine, because they struggled to have any possession or a shot on target in the first half. Really disappointing. We're underway again, though. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby 0.
Thank you very much, Julius. A second half commentary from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the way. Mikel Arteta up next after the news on 5 Live with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Donald Trump is about to arrive in the UK for a second state visit. He's expected to land at Stansted in the next 5 minutes or so. He's the first US president to be invited twice. The King and Queen will host him at Windsor Castle tomorrow. Our North America editor is Sarah Smith, and she's there.
For Donald Trump, it's all about the grandeur and the pageantry. This trip is worth it for him just to be treated like a VIP by the King and Queen. But there is some business to be conducted too. There will be billions of dollars worth of high-tech investment from US firms into the UK announced over the next couple of days.
US officials say they'll seek the death penalty against the man accused of killing the right-wing political activist Charlie Kirk. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson faces 7 charges, including aggravated murder and witness tampering. Here's Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray.
I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail.
The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has described the war in Gaza as morally and politically intolerable. He's been speaking after a UN report concluded Israel has committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, although Israel's rejected that. A man who arrived to the UK by small boat has won a last-minute legal challenge to temporarily stop his removal to France under the one-in, one-out pilot. Lawyers argued he needed more time to present evidence he may be a victim of modern-day slavery. The Home Office says the 25-year-old from Eritrea could have claimed asylum in France, and he showed no evidence of why it's not a safe country. And tributes are being paid to Robert Redford, who's died at the age of 89. He's best known for starring in Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid and The Sting. Leonardo DiCaprio described him as an absolute legend, while Redford's co-star in Barefoot in the Park, Jane Fonda, says he was a beautiful person in every way.
It's 1997 when the streets of a housing scheme erupt.
Angry scenes at the Raplock estate in Stirling outside the house of a convicted paedophile.
At the heart of the crowd, Big Mags Haney, an anti-paedophile campaigner who made headlines.
She wasn't the only person who stood up. She just happened to shout the loudest.
Dubbed the matriarch of a family from hell.
The amount of crimes committed by that family was stuff of legend.
I was so scared.
Crime Next Door, the ballad of Big Mags. Listen first on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
More Champions League to come, but this is Grimsby Town season and we're just covering it. To Hillsborough, Julia Bold.
Yeah, it's Sheffield's Wednesday 0, Grimsby 1, and they are good for it because they have had way more possession this entire game. First of all, it was a chance for Charles Vernam. He was centre of goal with a free kick, and it was just tipped over the bar by Sheffield Wednesday's keeper. It led to a corner. Cameron McJanet scoring from that corner. They have taken the lead. It is Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby 1.
Already tonight in the Champions League, it finished Athletic Bilbao 0, Arsenal 2, Trossard and Martinelli with the goals. Let's hear from boss Mikel Arteta.
Yes, what an amazing place to play football. I must say, one of the best atmospheres that I've played. A really tough match. We knew that the first 20-25 minutes it was going to be really tough, especially the way they play, so intense, a lot of direct play, a lot of duels. And I think after that we started to grow throughout the game, and the second half we were much more fluent, dominant, and looked much more of a threat. And at the end, the finishers, they made the impact for us to win the game, and overall very happy.
What does it say about the existing players in the squad like Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli to be able to come off the bench to have that impact?
That they are at least equally important or more important, and we have discussed that the finishers are going to be more important this season sometimes than the starters, and we can change the game then, especially when with the intensity that we play, when teams start to drop off, and I'm very pleased to see that. And Piero comes in, he plays 6 minutes, the best 6 minutes he's played. Christian is the same, and that's the attitude that we need from all of us.
Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta speaking to BBC Sports' Alex Howell. We've got commentary of Arsenal Manchester City on Sunday, 5 Live Sport from 4:30. Correspondent John Murray will be there at the Emirates. Between now and then, loads more football commentaries to bring you, including more in the Champions League. Thursday, Newcastle Barcelona. Tomorrow night, Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. 8 o'clock with Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin, who's with us now from Bavaria. Evening, Pat.
Good evening, how are you doing?
Very good. Disappointing reports are reaching me that you've gone all the way to Bavaria just to eat Italian.
Yes, we have. We've eaten Italian. We had to be safe and sensible. That's what you do before a commentary. Make sure you don't go for a wild curry or anything. But we've all been sensible. And even Ian Dennis has got an iron grit in that glass in front of me there. And it's I think it's water. Might not be. Anyway,
it always is.
We've been very professional. Yeah.
I think this is fascinating. I mean, Chelsea are a team who obviously love to have the ball, and Bayern Munich are going to be really difficult to play against. We saw Chelsea win the Club World Cup, beat some of the big names in the continent and beyond. How do you see it tomorrow?
It's a really tough one for Chelsea. I mean, they are underdogs. I mean, the Club World Cup, fair enough, but a lot of the teams weren't in it. Liverpool weren't in the Club World Cup, so you have to take that with a slight pinch of salt to some degree. But it's a tough one. But they have got a history. For Chelsea fans, this is an extraordinary place. They did not expect to beat Bayern Munich when they came here in the Champions League final, and they managed to do it, to win it for the first time. So yeah, it's almost a pilgrimage for Chelsea fans, and they've done well. There's limited expectations when they come here, and they have to remember what a brilliant start to the season that Bayern Munich have had as well just now. I mean, their forward line is absolutely on fire. And that's before you even talk about Nicholas Jackson.
Well, there's the unique thing about Europe, isn't it? Couldn't happen in English football. You loan a player out, he can't play against you. But the idea of Nicholas Jackson coming up against Chelsea is absolutely fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. The slight difficulty, he's got a guy who's not too bad in front of him. That guy, Harry Kane.
He is
okay.
good, I've heard, yeah.
And Harry is flying this season. I think it's something like 8 goals in 5 games at the start of the season. Harry is loving it, but he's also got some brilliant creative players behind him. So whatever they do, at Bayern at home, they will expect to win. Their fans expect them. This is a great arena to watch football games in. The last time I was here, but Celtic actually was against Bayern Munich, and they ran Bayern very, very close. I suspect Bayern will be a wee bit better tomorrow, but I don't think Chelsea should be fearful. I think they should be as open as they possibly can, and if they get the likes of Cole Palmer available and fully fit again, that will make a huge difference.
Lovely stuff, Pat. Thank you very much. Don't go too safe, enjoy Bavaria.
Well, absolutely. We will completely enjoy Bavaria. Put that down, Dennis.
Let you go, Pat. Thank you very much. Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis, who'll be your commentary team tomorrow night for Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. I mean, we've just got so many great games to kick off the new Champions League season. That tomorrow night. Newcastle, Barcelona, just can't wait for that on Thursday, conjuring memories of Tino Asprilla all those years ago. As you heard, we've already had Athletic Bilbao 0, Arsenal 2. We'll bring you reaction to all of these stories, by the way, once we're done at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tony Livesey taking over on 5 Live at 10:30 with much more on US President Donald Trump's state visit. He's just about to land at Stansted ahead of that one. So that's with Tony at 10:30. We're ready for second half commentary at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 1, Villarreal 0. Chris Sutton and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Steve. Team's back out, ready for the restart. Doesn't look like there's going to be any changes in personnel. Calamitous own goal from Luis Junior, Villarreal's Brazilian goalkeeper, has Tottenham 1-0 in front here as we prepare to get started for the second half. Villarreal, who've never come from behind when they've been trailing at half-time to win a Champions League game. It's a club that have twice been to semi-finals of this competition. There's only been once, I believe, in recent times that Spurs have ever lost a Champions League game that they've been in front at half-time, and that's against Juventus some 7 years ago. But back underway, Richarlison leading the attack for Spurs. Bergvall running in to put pressure on Renato Vega. Tottenham will hope to pick up where they left off, but maybe create just a few more clear-cut chances in this second half as Bergvall commits a foul on Pape Gueye, and that leaves a free kick to Villarreal. And here's Chris Sutton.
Yeah, well, I think we'll see Tottenham try and play with the same control as they did in the first half. Got that early goal and were pretty comfortable, albeit Villarreal missed that big chance for them in the first half.
Big cheer there in the background. Bit to come. Quite sure about what he meant it, but from a tight position inside his own penalty area, he played a brilliant pass. I think he was just trying to clear it away, but it ended up being a really good pass to get away, and that was wrongly received. But Vicario's made a mistake here, and Nicolas Pepe tried to shoot from outside the penalty area. That was blocked. It's fallen down for Jose Perez. He's surrounded by Tottenham defenders. Pepe, was he a bit forceful on Romero there? The referee says no. It's a shot that loops up, no power on it, deflected and into the arms of Vicario. So Vicario gets away with what was a poor clearance.
Yeah, I mean, just really sloppy from Vicario. Good bit of skill by Kudus. I thought it was a foul on him. Wasn't given, but yeah, and he had a shank in the first half, didn't he? Right-footed, under pressure, I think, from Mikatadze, and shanked the ball to Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe tried to take a quick touch and get a shot off because there was an open goal, but didn't get his first touch good enough, and the chance was gone.
To remind you of the teams, Vicario in goal for Spurs, back four Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Spence. Two changes tonight, one of them Bentancur coming into the midfield in place of João Palhinha. He plays alongside Sarr and Bergvall in the midfield, and then the front three: Mohamed Kudus, Xavi Simons and Richarlison, who's back in the team, preferred to Matheus Tel. For Villarreal, Luis Junior, the goalkeeper who scored the own goal, Santiago Mourinho at right back, Juan Foyt, the former Spurs player, alongside Renato Vega, the former Chelsea player in defence. Sergei Cardona is the left back. In midfield, Nicolas Pepe, once of Arsenal, on the right wing. Comasagna, Papke, Buchanan complete the midfield, with Mikotadze, the Georgian, alongside the former Newcastle and Leicester striker Ayoze Perez, who's making his first start of the new season. Villarreal have yet to have a shot on target in the game. We mentioned the first half. Tel, who played in the first half in the first game of the league game at the weekend, he's not involved tonight because he's not in the Champions League squad. As Cardona was about to take a throw in, and then he's put the ball down to collect another one. He wants a drier ball. And he's
Bergvall did that in the first half, didn't he?
Wiping it on his shirt. No visible rain, but I didn't notice actually. Maybe the sprinklers out at half-time, something like that, as it comes in from Cardona, and it was a foul throw. So after all that, his foot was raised as he took the throw.
Blimey, Champions League football foul throw. Dear me.
Did you see that the weekend? I can't even remember which the player was. Oh, it was Calafiori having the discussion with the assistant about how to take a throw in. Have you seen that?
No, I've not. No.
That's one for our listeners to look up on social media. Basically, the assistant referee the weekend, he pinged Calafiori for a foul throw, and then Calafiori questioned him. He's saying, "What was wrong with it?" And it was like he was coaching under eights. No, it's got to be behind your head. Worth looking out for the video. I'm sure it's on social media. Throw in for Villarreal on the far side into Comasagna. Back to Juan Foyt, who really learnt a lot about the game during his spell at Spurs. Does a little drag back away from Richarlison. Not for the first time, he then takes on Richarlison and gets past him. It's really good from Juan Foyt, coming out of defence, beating two Tottenham players, and he's continued his run forward here, gets it back on the edge of the Spurs penalty area. He'd love a goal back here as they try to run it in, and Pepe's flick doesn't quite work, and Van de Ven clears the ball away. Simons, Jed Spence, good crunching tackle again to win it back. That was Porro again. It's a brilliant last 60 seconds he's had. Nicolas Pepe, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Really good pass into the box. Is there an angle for a shot? No. Richarlison should be able to clear here. Takes his time. Eventually goes down, wants a free kick and gets it. Free kick to Spurs.
Here you go. Knows exactly what he's doing there, Richarlison. Does brilliantly defensively for the team, but Tottenham have started this second half, got to say it, really sloppily, haven't they? Villarreal in the ascendancy. Good run from the back by Juan Foyt, the former Tottenham player. And Tottenham just need to get a foothold and get some rhythm in this second half.
Some boos in the background because Thomas Partey has gone for a warm-up run, and he's on the bench tonight. It's quite controversial with Thomas Partey. He's got a court appearance in London tomorrow. He's back with Villarreal in this country, but he is on the bench for Villarreal this season. It's the first time he's gone for a warm-up run. He's spun up by the Spurs fans. Well, I think regardless of court appearances, they would have given him a bit of stick anyway. But here comes Mikotadze attacking down the right-hand side. Expert tackle from Mickey van der Ven. He's so good at that.
Absolutely. Mikotadze's no slouch as well. And Van de Ven, though, went to ground, had to get the ball, did do. Warning sign, start of the second half for Tottenham. Mentioned they haven't found the rhythm, but that last-ditch challenge from Van de Ven, absolutely crucial.
One of those where he's leaping, he wins it, and then he straight bounces back up at his feet with the ball. Perfect tackle. Here he is again in possession, Mickey van der Ven. He's now started all of Spurs games this season, and they will be crossing their fingers, toes, the whole lot, that he stays fit through this campaign. Porro, still inside the Spurs half, gives it back to Christian Romero. Spurs 1, Villarreal 0 if you're joining us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tottenham's first game back in the Champions League group phase after not being involved last season. Vicario, outside his penalty area, gives it to Van de Ven. Villarreal just pressing a little bit more at Tottenham inside their own half now. Simons back to Jed Spence. He feels a crunch from Nicolas Pepe. Good work from Pepe, who thought he'd want to throw in for his team, but the official has given it the other way.
Yeah, I think Tottenham all evening, there's been no real urgency or pace to the passing. It's all a bit slow and sloppy. Villarreal just sensing that, and you're right, pressing a little bit higher. in this second half in their attempt to get back into this game.
For what it's worth, and it's kind of ridiculous because we're not even through match day 1 yet, but hang on, come back to that. I was going to just tell you what the table is looking like, but here is Richarlison, chance of a counter-attack for Spurs, poor pass, trying to give it outside of the right boot to Papsar, needed way more on that, and it's an opportunity for Buchanan to come attacking down the left-hand side for Villarreal. Romero comes sliding across, and that was almost as good as Van de Ven a moment ago. Solid defending from Spurs central defenders.
Their last-ditch defending is just top draw. Perfect from Romero. Really clever initially from Buchanan, because Bergvall got back up. Buchanan, his first touch, knocked it round him, drove the left-hand side, and then Romero, perfect timing to get across and make the block.
The referee came back and showed a yellow card to Renato Vega there, who had fouled Bergvall. The referee rightly allowed Spurs advantage at the time, but once the ball went dead, he's come back and shown the yellow card to the former Chelsea man. As to throw in, Sergei Cardona, left-hand side for Villarreal, 10 yards of the corner flag, sends it into the box. Richarlison wins the header. Porro miscues his clearance, might be still in play for him though. He gets a second bite. Ooh, that's not great. He's put it back across his own edge of his penalty area. Foyth from a mile out. He really wants to score tonight, Foyth. He tried a shot from 35 yards and it's repelled away. Poor old Luis Junior, the goalkeeper who scored the own goal, gets the jeers from the Spurs fans. He's actually done really well, playing it up to Jose Perez inside the penalty area. Chance for Villarreal. Jed Spence puts it out for a corner.
The link-up's brilliant. One ball over the top from much maligned goalkeeper. His error in the first half, and really clever link-up play for Jose Perez. And eventually the cross was blocked. Nicolas Pepe involved once again.
Corner to Villarreal. Tottenham's lead still slender. 1-0 can be perilous in the Champions League. Here comes the delivery. In swinger. Oh, free header for Foyth. It just glanced in front of his forehead and he swings his fist through the air in frustration. He managed to get into a position of a free header there, but he couldn't get purchase on it.
No, it's a big chance it is. I think Bentancur's marker just does enough and uses his body to ease him out, but that's a chance for Foyth. Clear header, can't direct the header. 6 yards, 7 yards out, can't direct it on target.
Foyth, who scored 1 league goal during his time here as a Tottenham player. He scored 5 since joining Villarreal. Now, Rory Smith's predictions were very publicly questioned by Chris Sutton in the first half, predicting Qarabag were going to do well this season. They were 2-0 down earlier on against Benfica. More in just a moment on that, because Nicolas Pepe's into the penalty area, shoots low, and it's across the face of goal and wide. If you watch the Manchester derby at the weekend, the third Manchester City goal for Haaland, it was that sort of move where he's trying to place it into the far bottom corner, but he's put it just wide. That's another good chance for Villarreal.
Yeah, that's a great description. You know he's such a danger on that left foot, and he's just trying to feed it. Right-hand side of the box, on his left foot. Wonderful left foot, and he just tries to bend it into that far corner. Pass Vicario, and he's not far away. That's another warning sign for Tottenham in this second half.
So Qarabag, who were 2-0 down, are back to 2-2. Benfica 2, Qarabag 2. And Borussia Dortmund have taken the lead away in Turin tonight. It's Juventus 0, Borussia Dortmund 1. Let's go to Brentford against Aston Villa. Chris Wise.
Villa is still 1-0 up against Brentford, but it could have been 2. Jadon Sancho's hit the post. Gessan with the pace down the right. The ball came all the way across to Sancho, and his effort first time hitting the outside of the post. Brentford 0, Villa 1.
Harvey Elliott with the goal as Villarreal come in the attack. They've actually had a decent start to the second half, the Spanish team. Trailing from early on, just over 3 minutes played when they scored the own goal. Bentancur, another brilliant challenge inside the penalty area. But between him, Romero, Van de Ven, we're seeing some top quality Champions League defending from Spurs here.
Top quality, last-ditch defending. Tottenham just keep giving the ball back.
Not in midfield, they're not top quality. They keep losing in midfield, but the defenders are doing well. Van de Ven gets it back again, gives it to Jed Spence. Spurs attacking down the left-hand side. Simons, it's fallen fortunately for him here, runs to the edge of the area, picks out Bergvall, right-footed shot, rising. Renato Vega sliding out just as he hit it. but Bergvall will be disappointed not to have got that on target. 1-0 to Spurs it remains.
It's a poor decision from Bergvall, who's had an impressive game for Tottenham, because at the point when he's getting the shot up, he must see Vega closing him down, and Kudus was to his right-hand side, free. Should have just slipped the ball out right to Kudus.
Earlier on, Arsenal won away in Spain against Athletic Bilbao. 2-0 Martinelli and Trossard both scoring goals there. Real Madrid are drawing 1-1 at home against Marseille. Trent Alexander-Arnold's been taken off injured in the early stages of that game. And here the calamitous own goal from Lewis Jr. has Tottenham Hotspur in front against Villarreal in the Champions League. We've not reached the hour mark yet. Vicario. Short to Christian Romero on the edge of the Spurs penalty area. Spurs playing from left to right as we look down. This is 5 Live at BBC Sounds opening night of this Champions League campaign for Spurs. Kudus, crossfield mazy run, not really sure where he's going there, and he gives the ball away eventually. He's had a good game so far, that wasn't great though. Pape Gueye for Villarreal. We're beginning to be a bit more assertive, but then a poor pass, and Pedro Porro comes storming forward. Buchanan's trying to keep back with him. Porro to the edge of the penalty area. Back to Kudus. Just outside the box, 3 defenders around him. Has Porro available outside, returns it to Kudus again. 3 in the penalty area. One of them Richarlison. Vega's clearance goes straight to Bergvall. This Tottenham attack isn't over yet. Bergvall to Pape Sarr in front of Simons. What a good pass that is if he can get there, but he doesn't. And he slides on a play, and it's a goal kick to Villarreal. And it's an entertaining second half so far. Spurs still 1-0 up.
It is, but there have been so many. The first 13-14 minutes of this second half, so many misplaced passes. Even that situation, Pape Sarr just should have composed himself a little bit more. Simons had made the run, and the ball inside the fullback was overhit, but so many errors from both sides with the passing.
1-0 to Spurs, the Europa League winners from last season, remember. Comasegna gives it away in the midfield. Van der Sar rolls it back to Vicario once again. Right-footed clearance from Vicarios towards Kudus. It'll come down on the halfway line. Kudus tried to control that in his chest. Done really well to get that and to keep it in play. I mean, the chances there, as that was coming from 30-40 metres high in the air down towards him, you wonder how's he going to control that. That was brilliant. Here comes Simons on the left wing now, cutting in on his right boot. Knew that Spence was outside him. Cross is overcooked for those in the middle. It comes all the way through, and Kudus will keep it in play on the right-hand side. Game open, as Chris says, error-strong in terms of misplaced passes. As Bergvall in the penalty area wins a corner for Tottenham. Second goal for Spurs now would be very useful. And at 1-0, Villarreal will always think there's the chance of a comeback here.
Yeah, Tottenham just want that breathing space. Don't they get that goal? Try and put this game to bed, get the first 3 points on the board in the Champions League. It's opened up a bit in the second half. End-to-end, clever play from Bergvall to win the corner for Tottenham. It's Kudus, it's a left-footed in-swinger.
Exactly at hour played. Van der Ven at the back post trying to shield Richarlison. Kudus, short run up, plays it in really well. Punched down by the goalkeeper, just about cleared away, up and under hoof from Pepe to clear the lines. That was a really dangerous delivery from Mohamed Kudus. And the goalkeeper, Lewis Jr., under a lot of pressure, did well.
Yeah, he did do well. Of course, had that horrible error for the Tottenham goal, but a lot of bodies in and around him. Came and committed, saw the ball late, but got the ball to safety. Double fister.
This is the second of a double-header of Champions League commentaries this evening on 5 Live. Earlier on, we brought you Arsenal's win in Bilbao. It continues tomorrow. Bayern Munich against Chelsea is at 8 o'clock, and right now we're going straight to Brentford because, Chris Wise,
Brentford have equalised 1-1, and there will not be a more popular goal scorer in here. Aaron Hickey, for all his injury problems over the last couple of years, has just scored a beauty. It's another long throw from Brentford causing problems. Edge of the box, came to Hickey, hit it first time, straight into the top corner. 1-1 as we move to the hour.
Brentford has shown quite a bit of resilience this season under Keith Andrews. They came from behind to get the draw against Chelsea at the weekend. 1-1 there for now. Here in the Champions League, Spurs leading by a goal to nil against Villarreal. An own goal scored by Lewis Jr. just after 3 minutes played here tonight. Here's Nicolas Pepe on the far side, you'll know because of the boos for the former Arsenal man. Comasegna back to Juan Foyth, the former Spurs player. And this is Papke. And on to Renato Vega. And Villarreal still on the halfway line. He's popped one in front of Mikotadze here, who to run an awful long way with Romero for company, and he didn't get anywhere near it. Comfortably gathered by Vicario.
Yeah, just forced the pass there with Vega. Mikotadze had made the run, but he was tracked comfortably by Romero. Let the ball run through to Vicario.
Bergvall leaves it for Kudos. Midway into Villarreal territory on the right-hand side. Tottenham in the white, playing from left to right as we look down. Villarreal all yellow. Nice work again by Kudos. Porro sends it across to give for Richarlison, who gets up well, but Luis Jr. out to jump, hand stretched above the bee. His fellow Brazilian gathers the ball to his gloves. Bad own goal earlier, but he's done okay since then. Luis Jr. Been impressed with Kudos tonight. Good decision making from him. He's not running down too many blind alleys. He's releasing it at the right times. As Nicolas Pepe chases after it, but the ball beats him out of play, out by the very small contingent of Villarreal fans in that far left-hand corner of the pitch from where we're sitting.
Yeah, I think you're right about Kudos and his start at Tottenham. I think a big loss for West Ham, but Tottenham have got a good player on the hands. He's the dribbler, isn't he? He can hold on to the ball. Slightly different on this right-hand side to Spurs off the left with Simmons, who's not so much of a dribbler but an intelligent player, likes to come on the inside, try and pick a pass.
Equaliser at Turin for Juventus. Yildiz has made it Juventus 1, Borussia Dortmund 1. Dortmund had taken the lead early in the second half. This is Jed Spence at left back for Spurs, gives it into Mickey van der Ven, and then he turns and rolls it back to Vicario. Villarreal, who host Osasuna in La Liga on Saturday, then they've got Sevilla away, and their next Champions League game is at home to Juventus on the 1st of October. Still plenty time for the Spanish team to try and get back on level terms or even better tonight. Porro to Bergvall, right hand side of the midfield as Spurs come forward. Little step over and a drag under the studs of Bergvall, and then he plays it outside of the right boot, and I think he intended that to go to Simons, but Papsar intercepted. Papsar 15 yards outside the penalty area. Plenty backspin on his crossfield ball. He was looking for Kudos, intercepted by Sergei Cardona, and all the Spanish left back could do is put it out of play for a throw-in to Tottenham Hotspur, still leading by a goal to nil here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. As well as that game in Munich tomorrow, Bayern Munich against Chelsea. We'll bring you updates of Liverpool against Atletico Madrid, and on Thursday a choice of listening: Newcastle United against Barcelona, an 8 o'clock kickoff on 5 Live, or you can listen to Manchester City against Napoli. That'll be on Sports Extra. Throw in for Spurs. Bergvall, who's got great distance on these so far tonight. This is level with the edge of the penalty area. Tottenham attack. Right hand side as they come forward. Here he comes, arching the back, propels it into the penalty area. Header won by Papke. Spence falls awkwardly. Oh, he's not been able to hold on to it. 4 on 2 if they're quick enough here. Villarreal. Nicolas Pepe is going to try and keep the momentum going on the right wing here. He goes away from Simons, and the referee says the Dutchman's fouled him. A free kick to Villarreal.
Mickey van der Ven does absolutely brilliantly there to actually just it was a 4v2, you're quite right, and he just put, I think it was Pap Gay, just put him off with the pass. The pass went behind Nicolas Pepe, and there was a foul in the process. Simmons
who's already on a yellow, Chris, but that one might even have been worse than the one he got. And we're just in our television screens. A Villarreal fan. I mean, this is. I almost admire the creativity. He's brought his own red card. He is brandishing the red card in the stands, hoping that will influence the referee.
Well, it didn't, but I tell you what, he's a lucky boy. He's on a yellow card, and that was a yellow card offence, wasn't it? You think Villarreal breaking out, Tottenham get away with one.
Tottenham perhaps fortunate to still have. I mean, I didn't think he should have got a yellow for the first one, but anyway, this is a chance to cross from Papke. Vicario, under a lot of pressure, holds it firmly. He was cannoned into, but he held onto the ball solid. I love this idea of bringing the red card to the game, though. You're leaving the house, I've got everything. You know, I'm going to London, passport, keys, red card, get the essentials.
Get to the airport.
Oh, I forgot the red card. Funny. There's not many of them here tonight for Villarreal, as we mentioned a few times, but yeah, they've got a red card in there. The referee didn't brandish it. Tottenham still have 11 on the field. 66 minutes on the big stadium clock. Renato Vega. Mourinho. pass it through the midfield here. Tottenham just need cool heads now. Final quarter of this game to go. Nothing silly, and Spurs will be celebrating an opening night win in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think they have been tentative, Tottenham, going forward. They haven't, gone for the jugular. They haven't gone for the kill, and we understand why.
2 goals in very quick succession in Turin, where Dortmund took a 2-1 lead away at Juventus, Felix Nemeka, but then Dusan Vlahovic has made it Juventus 2, Borussia Dortmund 2. 2 goals right back to back. Here comes Pepe into the penalty area. Oh, the ball ricocheted onto his arm, and the referee does give a handball for that. And I think that's a little bit harsh to Pepe. He's come up off his own boot. I mean, if that had been a defender, it wouldn't have been a penalty, but it's given us a free kick against him.
Yeah, that's really well put, actually. The other way round. And, you wouldn't have seen that awarded. The ball, he's trying to pop the ball in, Nicolas Pepe, and it comes back. Here's substitution. A couple of subs for Tottenham, but that, harshly done by there.
Marcelinho, the Villarreal head coach, complained a lot about that to the 4th official, and he's been shown a yellow card for those protests. Right, the first changes of personnel of the evening. Double swap for Spurs. João Palhinha's going to come on in place of Pape Sarr. And Destiny Udogie is going to come on for what will be a 3rd substitute appearance of the season for the Italian defender, and is it Jed Spence? It is Jed Spence who wanted to walk across the pitch as you'd normally do, but the official says no, I don't want any time wasting, get off at the nearest point of exit, so he leaves the field on the far side, and he's going to have to walk around the perimeter of the pitch. So Udogie is on for Jed Spence, and João Palhinha is on for Pape Sarr.
It'll just be interesting how Tottenham, they shape up in that midfield area now. Palhinha will maybe sit alongside Bentancur, or maybe Bentancur will play a little bit further forward.
Misjudgment by Juan Foyt, but he rectifies, sweeps it out to the right full-back position, then clears it up towards the halfway line. Mkhitaryan's up there waiting for the ball to come from him, and it doesn't, and then João Palhinha straight into action, sliding, gives away a free kick, which is kind of what João Palhinha does. Gives away a lot of fouls, picks up a lot of yellow cards, but does give a steal to the midfield of whatever team he's playing in. Still 20 minutes plus stoppages to go for Villarreal to try and get something back here and spoil Spurs' night. This is Christian Romero, right full-back position, keeps calm, gives it to João Palhinha. Now up to Kudus. He's got Cardona breathing down his neck. It's a pass into Bentancur. Thousands of Spurs fans roar man on, so he knows there's an opponent right behind him. Pedro Porro has this is neat and tidy stuff from Spurs, and they're actually forcing Villarreal to expend a lot of energy. Villarreal, who want to press, who want to try and close them down, and Spurs' passing is so accurate that at the moment Villarreal are just chasing shadows. Long clearance by Vicaria now, looking for Kudus. Cardona gets there first, and then good work in the midfield from Comasagna, and then it's back to Juan Foyt. Villarreal must begin at square one again. Foyt goes long this time. Destiny Udogie wins the header calmly down for Van de Ven, who rolls it back to Vicario.
Yeah, just with that little spell of good passing from Tottenham, just limited the touches, didn't take too many touches on the ball, which I think they have done this evening. Villarreal have been able to press and shape up, and Tottenham haven't found any real flow.
The Spaniard's about to make a change now. Alfonso Pedraza is about to come on. He's a Spanish defender. He's got 1 cap for his country. Played on loan at Leeds a few years back. Alfonso Pedraza. Pepe gives the ball away, well anticipated by Mickey Van de Ven. Van de Ven's had an excellent game. This is Destiny Udogie, left back for Spurs, into Bentancur. Neat triangular passing again. They've really got a flow and a rhythm about them at Thomas Frank's team at the moment. They'd love the second goal, sure, but they are controlling the match. Here's Bergvall, midway inside the opposition half, tried to give it in early towards Richarlison, well defended by Juan Foyt. He's been good tonight too. Oh, Bentancur's won it back in the midfield there. Good work by João Palhinha. Chance for Spurs in the right wing. Kudus dragging it with his left foot. Cardoso trying to show him the outside. Good defending from Cardoso to slide in at Cardona to win the ball. This is João Palhinha getting it back for Spurs though. Kudus returns it to João Palhinha, the Portuguese international. Porro, back to Kudus. Here comes the delivery. At the back post was Richarlison. Close, really close. Good play from Spurs.
Yeah, patient from Tottenham out on the right-hand side, and the ball's brilliant from Kudus on his left foot, and just thought for a second Richarlison attacks the ball at the far post. He's not far away, can't get on the end of it, it drifts wide for a goal kick to Villarreal.
The work rate of Richarlison's really good here as Villarreal tried to play it out from deep. He ran in as the keeper gave it to Renato Vega, and he managed to prevent them clearing away. Still going to be a goal kick anyway, but just very unsettling for the Villarreal defence to Richarlison hounding in on top of them like that. Spurs fans loved it. He's going to do it again here. Renato Vega plays it short to the keeper. Richarlison comes sprinting in. Foyth will try and play it away. High press from Spurs here, and it works. It works. Villarreal give it away.
Well, Tottenham happy to go man for man at the back, 3-on-3. Villarreal think that their build-up play is going to be better than the Tottenham's press, and how wrong were they?
So double change coming up for Villarreal. They might do it now that the ball has gone out of play. Pedraza and Akamak is going to come on. He's a Moroccan, yet to start this season. A winger. Throw in for Bergvall, who's getting a hero's applause on that far side from the Tottenham fans as he prepares to take the throw. Just waiting for his teammates to get in position in the centre. Because of the defensive nature of this, Villarreal are not going to make the substitutions at this point. Here it comes, Bergvall arching the back, swinging it in. Keeper thought about coming, then he retreats and bounced up a bit dangerously, but into the gloves of Lewis Jr. Spurs still winning 1-0 here. Villarreal can't get it out at the moment. Good work from Porro. And then he goes down inside the penalty area, but it's going to be a goal kick. But there's a hunger to Tottenham at the moment that Villarreal are finding it difficult to compete with, and Porro very unnecessary there. He was in a little collision with Cardona. They picked themselves up, and as he's running back, he's barged into Cardona's a little bit of a, just letting him know he's there. Silly. And the referee comes across and speaks to Porro. It doesn't show a yellow card, but that could have been more sour for the Spaniard. So here comes the double change for the visitors. Akamak is going to come on, and it is Jose Perez, the former Newcastle and Leicester player, that he replaces. And Pedraza comes on as well. And who is he replacing? He is coming on in place of Cardona, the left back who Porro just barged into a moment ago. So that's pretty straight swaps there, with Pedraza coming on to play at left back, and Akamak is more of a winger, replacing Jose Perez, who is playing in a more central role.
Yeah, Akamak's gone out to that right-hand side. Nicolas Pepe now playing in a central striking role.
And Tottenham are about to make another double change of their own, and there'll be a bit of excitement around here when Randall Kolo Muani comes on shortly. But first, defending to do for Spurs. Comasanya inside the penalty area, goes down. Referee was close to it, says fair challenge. Appeals from Villarreal, they should have had a penalty. Free kick to Spurs, though, as Udogie has fell to the edge of the box, and Van de Ven goes over and has a little word with Mikotadze. With Akamak, who just come on. So it's the substitute who just come on. He's in the penalty area, and it's Xavi Simons who sort of collides with him. It's inside the box, and the VAR is looking at this, Chris. It's kind of hip-to-hip barge.
Yeah, well, Akamak gets his body in, and Simmons does make a challenge. Doesn't get any of the ball, but is it sufficient contact to go down in that manner? I think he's gone down. I think he could be stronger there. He's hit the deck. I think they'll be fortunate to get a penalty.
Okay, double change for Spurs. Brennan Johnson's going to come on in place of Xavi Simons, who I think has been an early hit with Spurs fans. They like what they see so far from the Dutchman. And Richarlison is going to be the player who makes way for Randall Kolo Muani. So Spurs winning by a goal to nil here. Let's go back deep south. Let's go Crystal Palace Millwall. Aaron Paul.
Palace 1, Millwall 0. Finally we have a breakthrough here in the 72nd minute. Corner ball played in from the far side. Mateta he had it under control, couldn't quite turn, swivel and get the shot away. Chris Richards did though. Palace 1, Millwall 0.
Big welcome here for Randall Kolo Muani. Tottenham, the fourth different team he's played for now in the Champions League. He was part of Paris Saint-Germain last season. He finished on loan at Juventus, and a big cheer to welcome him on in place of Richarlison, an international striker who Tottenham are hoping is going to hit the ground running, Chris.
Yep, absolutely. It looks to be another smart piece of business. Yeah, plenty of Champions League experience. Juventus and Frankfurt here. Thomas Partey coming on is not getting a welcome reception from the Tottenham fans.
No, Thomas Partey, former Arsenal player, was never going to get a warm greeting here. But Thomas Partey back on UK soil and on the field tonight, having been named as a substitute. Marcelo said he was fit and available to play, and he's proved that here by bringing on Thomas Partey into the midfield for Villarreal. Danny Parejo has also come on, former Queen's Park Rangers player. So 1-0 to Spurs, 13 minutes plus the stoppages to go on this opening night of the Champions League on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Foul by Spurs, yellow card shown to Kolomoani. So his first action as a Tottenham player is to pick up a booking. He's certainly trying to make an impact.
Looking at that again, he's just backing into a defender. He accidentally catches him. That's extremely harsh. He's dished out a few cards tonight, hasn't he?
He has. They're racking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 now. Well, we mentioned earlier on that Thomas Partey, it's quite a story because he has got a court appearance in London tomorrow. Thomas Partey, he's coming on to play in the Champions League here tonight, and I'm sure that will be a story that will be followed over the coming days. Bergvall flicks it on with his knee, controlled by Kudus into Joe Polina. Tottenham just need cool heads, concentration now, see this through. Kudus on the halfway line. Back to Porro. There was a touch there from Buchanan, made it a bit awkward for Porro. Christian Romero wins a header. Comes down for Parejo in the midfield. Porro again, it's all got a bit ragged now. Porro with a good calming pass, sees that there's space for Destiny Udogie on the left-hand side. Some game in Turin, by the way, it's fluctuating again. Borussia Dortmund have retaken the lead against Juventus. Juventus 2, Borussia Dortmund 3 now in the final 10 minutes in Turin. There's header by Renato Vega for Villarreal. Is controlled by Kudus on the right wing for Spurs. Does well to give it a live warm applause as he picks out Pedro Porro.
Yeah, they only know one way, don't they, Dortmund? Attack, attack, attack. And Spurs need to defend just to see this one through. Polina, since he's come on, they've steadied the ship a little bit, and he's slotted in alongside Bentancur to be that enforcer and stiffen up that midfield and make Tottenham difficult to play through, but also try and give them a bit of composure on the ball.
The early kickoffs this evening in the Champions League. So Arsenal win away in Bilbao by 2-0, and Union Saint-Gilloise won 3-1 away at PSV Eindhoven. Of the 8 o'clock games, they're all into the last 10 minutes now. Benfica, who were 2-0 up on Karabag, it's 2-2 there. Juventus 2, Borussia Dortmund 3, as we've been telling you. Real Madrid a Stinbiel at home by Olympique Marseille. Real Madrid 1, Marseille 1. And here in North London, Tottenham, thanks to the early own goal by Luis Junior, 3 minutes and 8 seconds into the game, they are still 1-0 in front, and Kudus is attacking down the right hand side for Spurs. Second goal would surely seal it now. Plays it in towards Kolomoani, wins it. João Polina tries to shoot right-footed, can't get it on target. Came off his shin a bit more than his boot, and it's wide and it's high.
Yeah, clever from Kolomoani. Once again, Kudus on the right hand side. Little dribble and stands the ball up to Kolomoani, who's 8 yards out. Back to goal, he chests the ball back to Polina, and the bounce does for him. He can't get his right hip up high enough to choke the ball down into the floor and get a shot on target.
Another change here for Villarreal. Alberto Molero has come on in place of Buchanan, the Canadian. In the EFL Cup tonight, Grimsby, are they going to continue the run, having knocked out Manchester United in the second round? In stoppages, leading Sheffield Wednesday by the 0-0. Poor beleaguered Sheffield Wednesday, but what a story for Grimsby if they can continue to progress in the competition. 1-1 between Brentford and Villa, the old Premier League tie in the EFL Cup third round tonight, and Crystal Palace still leading Millwall by 1-0. just south of the river from us here. This is Joe Polina stretching, neat to Bentancur. Van de Ven gets a shout of man on. And a chance now for Udogie to come over the halfway line for Spurs. Tries to get on the end of a 1-2. Good run by Udogie. Down he goes, the outstretched leg of Juan Foyt. It's going to be a free kick to Tottenham, right down by the byline. They attack on the left-hand side. 8 minutes to play, Chris Sutton.
Yeah. Oh, is it? He's given a goal kick.
Oh, sure he gave a free kick. Wow.
There's been some strange decisions. Let's have another look there. I think Udogie was brought down. There was strong contact from Foyt.
Touch by Mikatadze. Hasn't happened for Georges Mikatadze tonight. The man who's joined Villarreal from Lyon. Hasn't had even crumbs really to feed up tonight. Here is Randall Kolomoani for Spurs, and he falls off the pitch. And that's a throw into Villarreal.
The Tottenham centre-halves, you mentioned them earlier, Connor, they have been monumental this evening. Mickey van der Ven, he's a machine, isn't he? And Romero alongside him. They've been so reliable, and if Tottenham do get over the line, they'll be the biggest reason.
Here's a chance. Mikatadze running into the penalty area. Van de Ven hits him on the edge of the box, and it's going to be, I think it's a free kick. The referee pointed on you as a free kick. The way he pointed, he could have been pointing to the spot for a moment. Free kick just outside the penalty area, and a yellow card for Van de Ven. We mentioned Mikatadze didn't have a clear chance of the game tonight. He was about to shoot there. Van de Ven has come across and cleaned him out. Tell you what, tiny margins here, and they're checking to see if the foul was indeed inside or outside the penalty area. Begins outside the box.
It's outside the penalty area, but if it's outside the penalty area, surely that should be a red card.
Yeah,
denial of an obvious goal scoring.
I completely agree.
I mean, Van de Ven gets across it, and he does check him, but that's very odd that's awarded as a yellow card.
They're still looking at it, and red cards is something that VAR, of course, can get involved in. No check over, they're happy with it. The touch off Mikatadze, while I still think he would have got the shot away and scored, it doesn't go dead straight towards the goal. It kind of went to the right a little bit, unless they feel that makes it more of a probable than definite goal-scoring opportunity.
I think that's a staggering call. I think it's denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. I think he's going to get a shot off on goal, isn't he? It'd be 1v1. I'm not so sure Romero was getting round. Tottenham get away with one.
It's all over at Hillsborough. We'll go to Julie in just a moment, but we've got to stick with this because a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area for Villarreal. Just one goal in it. If it was to stay, if all the games are to end as they are at the moment, Tottenham would be 4th place in the formative Champions League group phase table. Villarreal would be 33rd. I mean, that's the difference between winning and losing in the opening game. But here's a chance for Villarreal to level things up, and they haven't had this tonight. An attacking set piece, shooting range. This is a big chance that they'll want to make the most of.
Tall wall, isn't it? Have they got? Yeah, they've got the old draft excluder as well. Tottenham. Is this Pepe? Is it?
Yeah, Pepe is standing over it, and Akamak as well, the Moroccan. This looks a really good position for the left foot of Pepe. Here he comes. Oh, he blasted it through the wall, but wide. Plenty power, not a million miles away for the former Arsenal man Nicolas Pepe. For a moment he thought he'd just scored at Spurs. He's lashed this.
Yeah, but it's one of those where he's on the right-hand side of the box, left footer. The wall is big, I mentioned, big wall. He goes Vicario's side, the goalkeeper's side, and it's actually 1.5 yards, 2 yards wide of the right-hand post. It's a poor effort.
4th goal for Borussia Dortmund. They lead 4-2 in Turin against Juventus. Let's go to Julia Bull for details of that final whistle. Sheffield Wednesday against Grimsby in the EFL Cup.
Yes, it has finished. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby 1. The League Two club by far the better side tonight. Jays can be accredited with that goal. Sheffield Wednesday have struggled to get out their own half tonight. Didn't have a single shot on target. 9,424 in attendance. Over 2/3 of those were the Grimsby fans. They're loving life in the League Cup, and they've won. It's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby 1.
Yeah, what a story for Grimsby, having beaten Manchester United in the last round. More League Cup coverage tomorrow on Sports Extra. Swansea City against Nottingham Forest. You can listen to that game on our sister station, from just before 8 o'clock. Real Madrid, have they got a late winner? They are down to 10 men after Dani Carvajal's dismissal, but another penalty. 2 penalties tonight for Kylian Mbappe have turned it around. Marseille were leading 1-0 earlier. It's now Real Madrid 2, Olympique Marseille 1 in the closing stages there. Here in North London, 3 minutes of normal time to play. Randall Kolomoani's done well to win possession, but it's a foul and a free kick to Villarreal on the halfway line. And Kolomoani on a yellow card, of course. He just looked a bit sheepish there for a moment. Is that any worse than some of the other yellow cards we've seen?
There's some odd decision making from tonight's referee. That was another strange one.
Villarreal pump it long towards the edge of the Tottenham penalty area, but Christian Romero has it under control. This is Brennan Johnson, plays it too far ahead of Kolomoani. Goalkeeper Lewis Jr. is out of his penalty area. Tottenham fans hoping there could have been more high jinks there. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the next time I see Rory Smith, by the way. So,
no way.
Yeah. So earlier on this evening, Benfica went 2-0 up against Karabakh, and very publicly, on the revered institution that is the BBC, Chris Sutton took Rory Smith to task for tipping the audacity that Karabakh could do well in the Champions League this season. And what do you know? It's now Benfica 2, Karabakh 3, and the apologies will be long and they will be humble, I am sure.
I'm not so sure. Fair play, Rory.
He knows his onions, does Rory Smith. As attacking on here, Akabak tries to get into the penalty area but finds no way past. And Brennan Johnson, who's effectively played as a left wing back since coming on, he's been just making sure there's no late twist in the tail here. Clears the ball away, and that's what Tottenham are doing now, clearing it, just kicking it long into the Villarreal half. Kolomoani's diligently running after it, but nothing for him to actually get onto. Thomas Frank is trying to just shut the door late on here, hoping the one goal which came so early in the game is going to be enough. Here is Kudus, lovely balance as he changes direction, then lays off a pass to Petro Porro on the right hand side. Spurs just need to keep the ball now. We're about to move into the 90th minute. Don't think there'll be too much added on for stoppages, and a foul is committed by a hungry Alfonso Pedraza. A free kick to Spurs, and they'll take their time over that. And there's plenty of time, Chris, for you to apologise to Rory, by the way. I don't want to rush you on that.
There is, but I don't know how much injury time we've got. Kudus does really well. That's a hell of a call from Rory Smith, isn't it? I mean, normally on a Monday night club, I finish and I think, blimey, did he really say that? But I'll take my hat off to him.
Yes, hat's removed. Kevin Danso's preparing to come on for Spurs. Kolomoani's not able to control on the edge of the penalty area. João Palhinha plays a decent pass out to the left wing to Destiny Udogi here. The Azerbaijani club Karabakh, who've never won a game in the Champions League, and they are just minutes away from celebrating that tonight. Spurs just minutes away from celebrating an opening win in this competition for the new campaign, and what is Thomas Frank's first ever game as a head coach in this competition. Here is Molero, one of the substitutes, chance to shoot. Bergvall did well to get his foot outstretched to block it, and we move into what are just 3 minutes being added on for stoppages here. Spurs 3 minutes away from the opening 3 points of the group. There's no attempt to high press now from Spurs. Everyone inside their own half, trying to compact the space and make it difficult for Villarreal. Will there be one late chance for the Spaniards? Pedraza goes around Porro. Looked like he might have been tripped there. The referee was right beside it and says no. Dani Parejo plays it into the penalty area. Good ball that, actually, to pick out Akamac on the far side. One step over, he's trying to get it onto his left here. Drills it in low. Mickey van der Ven, who's been outstanding this evening, is right where he needed to be to clear away.
Yeah, right place, right time. May have got away with that challenge. Katadze, but he's had a superb evening, Van der Ven. There he is again. Another important header.
Been brilliant tonight, absolutely brilliant. Spurs get a free kick just outside their own penalty area, and again this will eat into the clock. Spurs, who travel to Brighton in the Premier League on Saturday. They've got a League Cup game next week. They host Doncaster here, and Tottenham's next home game will be the visit of Wolves. But it's a club that just feels there's a renewal here, you know, getting that weight off their shoulders with the long-awaited trophy last season. The new coaches come in, and it seems to be a good fit. And just feel, looking around the ground, I mean, we've been here a lot in recent years, and there's been a doom and gloom, a cloud hanging over here. This does feel a fresh start, Chris, or does it? Well, do you agree?
Yeah, no, look, there was an excitement, when Ange Postecoglou came in, and last season, Premier League-wise, a lot of dissatisfaction. We understand why. I think they lost over 20 games, Tottenham did in the Premier League, won the Europa League, and Ange parted ways. Good way to part ways. Thomas Frank coming in, maybe a bit more balance about the way Tottenham will play this season, but no, he's just sort of settled in easily, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's been no drama, no sort of fireworks, no standout issues, just getting on, but business is normal, and it kind of feels like Thomas Frank's been in this job a long time now.
Yeah.
Of course, long way to go, and others have had good starts, but no, that's all you could do is do well in the opening games.
But do you know what? Champions League, his first Champions League game as a manager, difficult team to play against Villarreal over the years in European competition. They've taken some big scalps, and they've been really well organised. It's all about the win, though. Tottenham get off to a good start with the win, 3 points. That's a hell of a start to Thomas Frank and his Tottenham managerial career.
Yeah, they're almost there. 15 seconds of the 3 minutes remain. Poor old Luis Jr., the Brazilian goalkeeper, that ridiculous own goal after 3 minutes tonight. Had it not been for that, well, who knows, but it would appear that's going to be the deciding moment of this game. One last chance for Villarreal. Here comes Mourinho, plays it right-footed. Van de Ven, who else, rises, leaping up to win the header. The doggy puts it out for a throw on the far side. And there's time to take it. This is it, last chance now for Villarreal. Thomas Partey, boos for him from the Tottenham fans for the former Arsenal player. João Palhinha looks to clear the ball away. Juventus 3, Borussia Dortmund 4. 7 goals in that game, and charade is not over yet. Here's a chance for Tottenham to put it all to bed. Kudos breaking forward. Villarreal had committed bodies. He tried to play it into Kolomoani. Good defending by Mourinho. And still we play on, approaching 4 minutes now of stoppages. There was only supposed to be 3. We're about to move into the 5th minute. João Palhinha gives away the free kick. Right. Surely a last chance now. Danny Parejo to take. They're all pushing up. High defensive line being held by Spurs. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Free kick's going to come from inside the centre circle. Parejo drills it in. Thomas Partey with a flick on, but a flick that goes straight through to Vicario. And a roar from the Spurs fans who know that should be that. And it is. Full-time whistle blows, and it is victory for Thomas Frank. Tottenham opened their account in the group phase with the win. It's a victory for Thomas Frank in his first game as a head coach in the Champions League, and Spurs now unbeaten in their last 21 European home games in a row. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, it's all about the 3 points for Tottenham. It certainly wasn't pretty. They got the job done. Horrendous own goal from Luis Jr. Villarreal early on, and just Tottenham weren't fluent in the second half. Villarreal had the better of the game, but as I say, Thomas Frank, first game in the Champions League as a manager, big win for him, big win for Tottenham, and they move on.
I'm going to jump in, Chris, because Crystal Palace Millwall, Aaron Paul.
Equaliser for Millwall, in added on time is Ryan Leonard, the substitute, with a glancing header past wall to Benitez, and this tie looks like it's going to penalties unless someone can find a winner inside the next 3 minutes. Palace 1, Millwall 1.
Thanks very much, Aaron. So Spurs are up and running in the Champions League. Poor old Lewis Jr. after the cross from Bergvall proved somehow too hot to handle there. It was no danger. It is going to go down as one of the Champions League comedy own goals, but it's done the job for Tottenham tonight, Steve.
Crikey, there is so much going on. It's a good job we're on till 10:30 reacting to all of tonight's football. So as it stands in the League Cup, we've had that huge story of Grimsby Town knocking out Sheffield Wednesday in front of 6,000 Grimsby fans and only 3,000 Wednesday fans because of their ongoing protest against the club's ownership. So we'll bring you reaction to that before 10:30. The other 2 ties look like they're going to penalties because Brentford, Villa, Palace, Millwall both level at 1-1 in stoppage time. Juventus have just scored again. So they've scored twice in stoppage time in the Champions League. It's Juve 4, Borussia Dortmund 4. However, as I look up to the screen, that goal is now being checked. We've had Real Madrid beating Marseille 2-1, Benfica 2, Karabag 3. And let's go straight to Selhurst Park. What's happening now, Aaron?
Oh man, you would have put your house, your car, anything else worth value on Jean-Philippe Mateta sending Crystal Palace through to the next round. Steve, I do not believe this. Kamada's fed Munoz thin down the right-hand side. Munoz has just squared it to Mateta. He's in front of the goalkeeper. He's slipped and he's fired wide. I do not believe what I've just seen. Palace 1, Millwall 1. We are a minute away from penalties.
I'm just wondering, Conor McNamara, if all of this makes you a bit jealous, having watched 90 minutes where there was one shot on target in the match and that wasn't even the goal.
Well, no, look, to be honest, I thought the second half was competitive. I don't think that Villarreal retreated into their shell. And, you know, we sort of touched on a bit in the commentary, the difference with you know, the Thomas Frank way of playing the game. And look, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed watching Ange Postecoglou's, you know, Tottenham, because you knew there was going to be goals one end to the other, but there was a control that Tottenham were able to exert here where they just shut down their opponents. So yes, you can look at that and say, right, statistically not many shots in the game, but I think so much to be admired, particularly Mickey van de Ven tonight. I mean, he was immense. So, you know, this was still a very worthwhile Champions League performance from Tottenham tonight.
Yeah, and Chris Sutton, look, we've got more time to talk about this after 10 o'clock, but that's kind of the point, isn't it? This was almost the opposite to the Tottenham that we saw last season. They didn't have that much verve. They weren't able to really go for the jugular, but they were really solid.
Yeah, and look, maybe they weren't brave enough. You know, you could argue that. Second half, they, you know, didn't really find any great rhythm, you know, throughout the game, and part of that was down to Villarreal, their setup, and they frustrated Tottenham. But was tonight not about just finding a way to win for Thomas Frank's team? And they did that horrendous error, and they saw it through. It wasn't a perfect performance by any means, but in terms of this competition now, that is a massive win for Tottenham. 3 points, you know, sitting in a pretty good position. You look at the home games to come. They've got Copenhagen, they've got Slavia Prague to come. So, you know, that win's really important for Thomas Frank. And, you know, he didn't, you know, Connor's right. He didn't gamble in any way. They didn't throw bodies forward recklessly. They held on, and a large part of that was down to the centre half. Vicario didn't have too many saves to make at all, really, throughout the 90 minutes. Tottenham defended excellently, could have offered more in attack, but who cares? They won.